Hello, PsychU community. This is Becky Wong here from the Osaka Neuroscience Medical Affairs team. Thank you for joining us on this interview series around mental wellness across the lifespan. In this interview, we will be sharing more information on one of our PsychU supporting organization, Mental Health America. I am pleased to be joined today by Paul Gionfriddo, President and CEO of Mental Health America. Paul has over 40 plus years of experience working in a variety of health and mental health related positions and have been the president and CEO of Mental Health America for the past 7 years, the oldest national mental health advocacy organization in America. Paul is also an author, consultant, and speaker on health, mental health, and public health policy and practice. He also served as the PsychU Stigma section advisor. Paul, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
So let's begin by laying the foundation of Mental Health America. Paul, I would love to hear from you on how and when the organization was established and what is Mental Health America overarching mission?
Well, Mental Health America was established back in 1909, so we've been around for a long time. And even from the start, Mental Health America, which was formed by a young man with lived experience who really created the modern mental health advocacy movement, his name was Clifford Beers. But from the start, we were focused a lot on what we're focused in on today, which is prevention for all, uh, early identification and intervention for people at risk, integrated services and supports for people who need them, with recovery as a goal. And we're the one organization nationally that focuses primarily on mental health and the mitigation of mental illness is a part of that. But overall mental health as part of overall health is critically important to the mission of Mental Health America. And it's something that's been important to us really for the entire century plus that we've been in existence.
Yes, it's amazing all the activity and all the work and initiative that Mental Health America has brought forth for the mental health community, especially in providing a comprehensive online platform for mental health education. I love your resource library because it really reaches a broad audience. And with that, can you share how might an individual as well as healthcare provider utilize some of those resources?
Yeah, and I'm pleased that we've been able to pull these together, and thank you for the kind comments about them. A lot of what we've built, a lot of the newer content we've built on our website has really been delivered with the end user, the consumer of information in mind. And so in our screening program, for example, we have gotten more than 8 million completed screens over the course of the last 6 years, and 2.5 million of them during the past year alone. And we have built a lot of content from what our screeners, who are help seekers, are telling us they want from an organization like ours when they complete a screen. And for a lot of people, that's information. It's also do-it-yourself tools. Then it's engagement with peers, and sometimes it's referrals to services and supports. But across all ages, we've been able to develop materials that are very specific to the individuals who come to us seeking help. So rather than getting, for example, the same depression information, no matter who you are and where you come from, you'll get customized depression resources that are based on the age of the person, the severity of a result that they take in a depression screening on our site, for example, and other factors. So when I think about how health professionals and others can use this information, I often say, you know, the best way to use it to come into the site is to use the site to take a mental health screen. The PHQ-9, the GAD-7, the PQB for psychosis. We're using some of the most common screening tools, and people get an immediate result when they do it through our website, and then customized materials for the individual. So even a professional who might use that screening tool as a way to deliver to a patient resources that are more specific to that patient's needs could be a very valuable way of using the tool. But the most important thing I think to recognize is that all of the material is really built from the perspectives of individuals using the site. And the one last thing I'll say about that is a lot of ways into this site, and for professionals to consider too, are in plain language. So for example, what we have seen when people are Googling or using another search engine to figure out what's going on in their heads, particularly younger people, they're not going to Google the terminology cognitive distortion that might be used by a professional. They're going to Google stopping stupid thoughts. How do I stop these stupid thoughts? So people who look at our website will see that we're answering very basic questions that are delivered in very plain language, often by young people, sometimes by old people, that then bring resources to bear based on the specific way they frame their questions. So it can also help bridge a gap between the way professionals talk about mental health and mental health conditions and the way people are talking about them when they first begin to interact with the mental health service delivery system.
Yes, I actually really enjoy the Feels Like campaign, the MHA Feels Like, hearing, just all the thoughts and, information that's provided by individuals with lived experience. And to your point, Paul, sometimes there's a disconnection between the provider and the individual with lived experience on how to explain their feelings. So really want to put in a plug for your Feels Like campaign with MHA. So, in that regards, how does MHA promote or increase awareness of these resources with the healthcare provider and individuals with lived experience? I know you have a lot of campaigns, but what is the outreach like? Can you share that with us?
Yeah, well, first of all, our social media following now is up over 1 million people. So that gives us a great population that's across the board to share information with. And we regularly post to social media, particularly Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, but increasingly to LinkedIn and other sources as well. But in addition to that, our Mental Health Month materials each year now reach between 50 and 100 million people, and more than 25 to 30,000 organizations primarily download those materials and use them. So for us, Mental Health Month, which we began in 1949 and continues to this day, many people unaware that it's a Mental Health America initiative, really helps us reach a great deal of people, and we make full use of that. We have done with increasing frequency satellite media tours during this past year, during the pandemic. We've done 4 or 5 of them, which people don't know what a satellite media tour is. Basically, you go studio to studio virtually across the country on a given day to talk about a given topic. We do these to launch Mental Health Month, and we'll do 20 to 25 interviews each time we do one of these things on television and radio across the nation, many of which reach then far more markets than that. And we work very closely with partners. We wouldn't be able to do anything that we do on our own. So we work very closely. We love the partnership with PsychU, for example. We love the partnership that we have with other mental health advocacy organizations and other nonprofits that are outside of the mental health space. All of these partnerships are really what help us do outreach to an increasing number of people, and have really built, I think, the stature and reputation of MHA during my 7 years at the helm.
Yes, and MHA is the pioneer and the major advocate for May Mental Health Awareness Month. And, as part of the PsychU series to raise awareness on mental wellness across the lifespan, we are working closely with some of our supporting organizations to highlight some of the resources available for specific age groups, along with some of the other at-risk population. And Mental Health America has several resources and domains really offering a lot of robust resources for youth and older adults. So, Paul, can you provide us a quick overview of MHA Creative Resource that target those two populations?
Yeah, well, first, with respect to youth, because so much of our constituency is young and primarily ages 11 to 34, primarily female, we have built a lot of our content around the younger population. So across our website, nearly every page, I think people will see the language of young people, and they will see us adjusting to and working toward the mental health, particularly of young women and also younger men. So on the youth side, I think from us, people will find throughout the website a lot of materials and information. On the older adult side, I always like citing that as an area. It's more my age group, but I like citing as an area where we've really benefited a lot through the development of partnerships. We have a very good and longstanding partnership with the National Council on Aging to deliver our screening resources to their population. They in turn to bring to our screening population Medicare resources because of the tremendous needs that older people have. We've also developed a nice partnership with Bell Age, a newer organization that has been formed by the former head of the National Council on Aging, also to address the needs primarily of older populations during the pandemic, the needs that have resulted from the pandemic. So for me, highlighting youth and aging resources are a way in part the young people to highlight a lot of what we produce, although we have many, many partners, and I wouldn't want to move forward without saying that. And on the older adult side, to highlight the partnerships, although we are also producing many of our own resources in response to the screening needs that help seekers over the age of 55 have.
So, as we wrap up our discussion today, Paul, as a mental health advocate, are there any final thoughts you would like to share with our community regarding mental health wellness across the lifespan?
Yeah, yes, I definitely hope that older people will learn this one thing from younger people, that it's okay to talk about mental health. It's okay to destigmatize your own feelings about mental health. It's okay to reach out and seek help. Even if you've never sought it throughout your life or never talked about it throughout your life, listen to the younger people. They're making it okay for us by talking more openly about mental health and their mental health needs. And similarly to younger people who have been most deeply impacted by the pandemic, they are most likely to feel anxiety and depression more deeply than any other population. They are more likely to be thinking all the way up to self-harm and thinking about suicide than any other population is. I hope they will listen to their grandparents who have some perspective and can offer that perspective and let them know there is a hopeful future ahead of them, even when times seem darkest and toughest. So what we can do to get the two generations together and everybody in the middle to begin to speak across generations, I think can be critically important to making certain that we maintain the mental health of the population and actually improve the overall mental health of the population moving forward.
Again, thank you so much, Paul, for joining us. As always, we appreciate our partnership with you and MHA. And please check out all the resources that's available through Mental Health America on their website, mhanational.org, or via our supporting organization section on PsychU. Take care, everyone, and stay well.